Hello everyone, welcome back to On the Fly. Today we're going to take a look at a trade between the Colorado Avalanche and the New York Rangers. So the Avs do receive Alexander Georgiev with his restricted free agent rights in exchange for a 2022 third round pick, a 2022 fifth round pick, and a 2023 third round pick. So in terms of the Colorado Avalanche, why are they making this deal? It's mainly because they don't have a goaltender right now, with Darcy Kuemper most likely walking. He did have a pretty productive 2022 season, winning a Stanley Cup with the Colorado Avalanche, and I do expect him to be walking, mainly because he is looking for a big payday. In terms of Georgiev, he's going to be his replacement. Is he going to be a solid replacement? Who knows? Going to be a cheaper option for sure, as they do need to sign some of their bigger players, like Kadri is one of the big ones right now that Avalanche fans are waiting upon to see if he will be returning. But Kuemper was the first domino not to be coming back, so don't expect Kuemper back at all. Georgiev is his replacement, stop, period. But it was a pretty hefty sum to try and get that, with two third-round picks and a fifth. So really is interesting to see where Joe Sakic has his mind, whether they're going to be splitting time between Francois, who we have seen play quite a solid role with the absence of Kuemper in the playoffs, or are they going to rock with Georgiev. Still something to be watching come basically the start of the season, because they do have two goaltenders right now that are going to be competing for that number one spot. Especially come playoff time, we are going to be rocking one goaltender, so be sure to look out for that. As for the New York Rangers, getting a very solid return for a goaltender that isn't even their starter. You have 2/3 and a fifth for your backup, who you can replace pretty easily come free agency time. Obviously, the goaltender carousel is well on the move, and there are quite limited options, especially good options right now when you look at free agency. So whether or not this was the start of many moves to come, definitely keep an eye on that. I know the Leafs are certainly looking for a goaltender, and Ottawa is looking to dish off Matt Murray, so be sure to look for that. That is going on right now. They are in trade talks, but it will be interesting to see what goes on there, especially with the Rangers are going to try and jump that option, whether they just sort of wait off. There are plenty of solid choices come free agency time, but of course it becomes that much riskier, because then you put your fate in the hands of the players. So in terms of the picks, solid picks, definitely a solid trade for the Rangers. So for their trade grade, obviously I am going to give them an A. For a player that they weren't really even going to use, I think Georgiev's a great option, and they're not going to be paying that much for a backup anyway. So paying or receiving a whole bunch of draft picks in exchange for really a player they're going to be letting go or trading off anyway, that's probably the best package they will see. So for that, I'm going to give them an A. As for the Colorado Avalanche, Georgiev isn't necessarily a great replacement for Darcy Kuemper, but I think it is what they have to do in order to keep some of their star players, especially Kadri. So for that, I am going to give them a B, just sort of understanding what cap situation they are in. I think it is a good trade for them, not necessarily a great one, but it is what they're going to need. And as for the contract, I think it is a little bit on the high side. However, it does secure him long term, and if they are going to rock him as their starter, which as it does sort of appear, it's not the end of the world, and hopefully Georgiev can produce somewhat like Kuemper did. Although Kuemper is also a very overrated goaltender, coming into a very solid team like Colorado. We'll see if Georgiev can live up to Kemper's name and be a solid replacement. If you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. If you'd like to drop a like, if you really liked it, consider subscribing. Tell all your friends, leave a comment down below your thoughts on the trade. Until next time.